Welcome back to the WFT/Commanders Declassified Podcast. I am LE. I almost tripped myself up. We are now officially the Commanders Declassified Podcast. But you know what? Old habits die hard. Thank you guys for listening or for checking us out on YouTube. All of the new subscribers on all platforms, man. We appreciate you all so much. Make sure you tell a friend, recommend them the best podcast in the Commanders arena. All right. Let's say what's up to Eric. Eric, how you doing?
Doing all right. How's everybody doing tonight?
They tell me they're wonderful. And Brian, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. We got some cool things to talk about, so I'm ready to go.
We absolutely do. And listen, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this just because you like catching it, just hit the subscribe button. We know there's a lot of you that do that. Just hit it. It ain't going to do nothing to you. Subscribe. Let's get going. A lot of things to get to tonight. Let's lead off like this. So 2022 is coming. The season is fast approaching. I think we're within 3 months or just about 3 months of the first game of the season. Eric, what are some things that you need to see in 2022, 2023 to make you feel like this football team is going in the right direction?
I'll give you a hint. Starts with a W, ends with ends. That's what I need to see. I need to see wins. I need to see this team get some W's. This team needs to win. I'm tired of moral victories. I'm tired of hearing that we're moving in the right direction. It is time to start winning. You have offensive pieces in place. You have a quarterback who can get the ball downfield. You have the pieces to be a very good defense. You need to put it all together, and you need to start winning this year. That's what's going to make me feel good. Nothing else. I don't want to see another 7-10, but we're moving in the right direction season. I want to see wins. I want to see this team in the playoffs. And I would like to see this team make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, if you look at the offseason moves, they tell you that this team felt like they were in the midst of competing, except for the quarterback position. They felt like the quarterback position was holding them back because they really didn't do a whole lot else anywhere else, right? So, the proof needs to be in the pudding this year. I agree with you totally. The W's need to start coming, and in big fashion. I mean, the 7-10 seasons, we're all over that. We need to be in the double-digit wins, and it needs to happen this season. Brian, what about you? What do you need to see in 2022?
I need to see competent football consistently week in, week out. Too many times there were weeks where we looked okay, and then there were several stretches where we didn't look like we knew what we were doing. We had guys running wide open. We weren't making simple adjustments on offense. We were doing things backwards, right? Like if Ron Rivera has to tell the offensive coordinator to run the football, that's a common sense thing. We don't have a legitimate starter at the quarterback position. We shouldn't be asking him to throw 35 plus times. Things like that. We need to look like a competent football team, and we got to do it week in and week out. It can't just be, we looked good against this one team back in week 2. No, it's got to be every week. We've got to look like a competent football team each week. If we can do that, we give ourselves a chance to win each week, and that's really what what you want from your football team. So we've got to look like a competent football team. That's what I need to see. I don't need to see any of these big lapses. We're in year 3 of this regime. All that stuff should be behind us right now.
So I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit, even though it's your opinion, right? But so think about this in the context of a 5-year deal. Year 1, you're really trying to turn things over, ship things out that don't belong here, players out, that don't belong here, and set your tone. Year 2 is the confidence year for me. You know what I mean? Year 3 is a little late for confidence. Year 3, you should start to compete. And I don't mean just like winning 5 or 6 games, but you should really start being an effective football team. You've had time to turn the roster over. You've had 3 draft classes, right? So like this is your time to really start being something. So just competent football isn't going to be enough for me going into year 3.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I mean, we saw, competent football for stretches last year. I'll settle for incompetent wins, honestly. I don't care. Wins are wins, man. No, I think, I would agree with that. I think it's time to start winning. You've got a capable quarterback. You have a competent backup. You have, your skill positions are loaded. You revamped your offensive line. Your defense has got all the pieces to be stout as all get out. It's time to start winning. You got a new name. You got new uniforms. Just the W's. Everything. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, and this rebrand was very important to this team. So, to do it in a year where they're only going to be, I don't know, competent and say, 5 to 7 wins, I feel like would be a tremendous letdown for the rebrand itself. Even though, with the way that the quarterback situation is set up, you could, in theory, next year go at it again and get another big name quarterback. Not that Wentz is the biggest of all names, but you could do that. And but I just think it's time. It's time. I mean, it's a tough sell to say, hey, we're just going to be somewhat of a factor this year, but not really an impactful team. I think a lot of folks would be tremendously disappointed with that. Brian, I wanted to ask you something too. I know you were not necessarily on the boat or on board for the Wentz trade. Has the off-season OTA work and things like that swayed you at all in terms of your positivity towards the Wentz situation?
Yeah, so initially, I was not a fan of it. Do I feel a little bit better about it? Sure, I do feel a little bit better about it. He is an upgrade over Heineke, right? There's no denying that. There's no argument to be made that Heineke's better or anything like that. We have a legitimate starting quarterback. Do I think we're going to the NFC Championship? Absolutely not. Not with this roster, and I'm kind of out on whether it's this coaching staff can get us there. Hopefully, they can, but we'll see about that. So do I feel better? Yes. Is it a lot better? No. Do I feel like, oh yeah, no, the season's in great hands. Nothing to worry about. 14-3 coming soon. I wish, I hope. But no, I mean, there's still a lot that we don't know how it's going to look. Is Carson going to stay healthy? He was healthy last year, but the previous years he hasn't been necessarily healthy. So that's still a big question mark. What's the defense going to look like? It was awful last year, and we just ran it right back with the same guys, same coaching staff as well too. So how's that going to look? Is it going to look any different? Maybe we're hoping so, but right now we don't have any evidence to suggest it will. So with Wentz, do I feel a little bit better? Yes, but just a little bit, not NFC Championship type better.
Every story that comes out with respect to Deshaun Watson, I feel a little bit better about what we did this offseason because it just won't end. And that's in Cleveland. Imagine if that was in Washington, D.C.,
Oh,
where these stories kept coming out.
yeah.
Even if the NFL did not suspend him, he would not make it to the first game of the season. Do you know what I mean? Just with all of the media pressure and things of that nature, with these stories continuing to come out, continuing to surface. And I think some of them are already known things that are just now becoming more pronounced because he got signed, but still, it just, I look, Wentz is not Tom Brady, but I thank the Lord that we didn't end up with Deshaun Watson. And last offseason, I was really, really big into the idea. I kind of cooled off on that as the season went on because of the things that were coming on and things that weren't settled within that case. But I will take Wentz over that situation any day of the week. I got to tell you.
Yeah, in a vacuum, Deshaun Watson is a no-brainer, but we don't live in a vacuum, and he is an absolute non-starter for this particular organization with everything that's going on here. To add him and all that comes with it, absolutely not. Could we have possibly waited it out a little bit, made a trade for Matt Ryan? Yeah, maybe. Or Baker Mayfield. Nobody saw that coming. So there were other probably options. They may have rushed into Wentz a little bit, but you didn't. You couldn't really foresee what was coming down the pike. And I think they set their sights on Wentz. They knew that they were going to have to trade for somebody. Nobody was going to come here if they had options. They figured that out early on. And, at the time they felt Wentz was the best they could get. I wasn't big on it either. I feel a little better about it now. Seeing him slinging in training camp and, the receivers look good. So we'll see. I don't hate the option. I can see this team. I can see a path to like 12 wins for this team. I can see them tanking and winning 5 games. So, yeah, hopefully it's the 12 win side. It's time for this team to start winning. And I think, this is probably the best supporting cast Wentz has had in years, at least, maybe ever at the wide receiver position. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to be an optimist this offseason.
Yeah, I'm in optimist mode as well. I know some of our longtime listeners are surprised to hear that. And because typically I'm the realist, or at least I consider myself a realist. But this year, I'm a little optimistic, and I will say that.
Sipping that Kool-Aid.
I don't drink
so
the
bad.
Kool-Aid necessarily, but I'm optimistic because of
it's nice to take some of that Kool-Aid in every once in a
Yeah.
while.
So let me ask you this, Brian. I'm gonna start with you on this one. Give me your position that we can least afford a major injury, and I'm gonna say don't put quarterback on your list because that's a little obvious. But give me another position that you feel like we cannot afford to sustain an injury.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's linebacker because we only have two of them. We literally have Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis, and the rest are undrafted free agents, or it's David Mayo, who is a backup, but he's probably going to see a lot of playing time because we refuse to play Jamin Davis. So I don't know if Cole gets hurt. I mean, I don't know what the linebacking core. We may scrap linebackers altogether and just have 6 safeties out on the field at any one time. So linebacker is huge because there is just really nobody there unless something happens here in training camp that we pick somebody up or there's some kind of last minute trade, which I don't really count on or think anything like that will happen. To me, it's linebacker.
Eric?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I go with too. There's decent depth pretty much everywhere else. But linebacker is a tough one. So outside of that, I mean, kicker, we saw what happens when the kickers went south last year. So obviously we don't want to see Joey Sly getting hurt. Hopefully he can, stay hot from what he was last year. But yeah, linebacker's a no-brainer for me as well.
I think linebacker is absolutely the right answer, but I'm going to try to give you a different one since you both kind of agreed on there. I'm going to say punter, right? And Eric, what you're saying about punters, right?
Yeah, they don't matter until you have a bad one.
Right. So, and we haven't had to deal with that in forever. And if something happens to Trust Way, that could really determine the outcome of games, right? When, our punter's kicking the ball or shanking it 27 yards down the field late in the fourth quarter, we need our punter to be good. And we've gotten complacent with the fact that Trustway is just that good that we just expect it when he gets up in the morning, right? But if we ever had to find out what life is like without Trustway, it could be very, very different. It could do a lot to damage our season. So shout out to Trustway. He's a big part of what we do here in Washington. All right. This mythical position, the Buffalo nickel, right? Some folks said Percy Butler's here. He's going to be our Buffalo nickel. Or if we drafted Kyle Hamilton, he was going to be it. Eric, what are your thoughts on that position? Do you have a feel for who's going to start there?
I hate that position so much just because people never shut up about it. I don't even really know what it is. It's the third safety. I think Percy Butler's probably your first choice for it. The kid from Virginia State might have a shot at it. Can't remember his name.
Will Adams.
Will Adams.
Adams from Virginia State. They may have had him. He's got the similar traits to what Kyle Hamilton had. But we'll go back to traits. I mean, I've said it before. I have similar traits to Henry Cobble. That doesn't mean, I'm Henry Cobble.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, I got dark hair and blue eyes, so, pretty much the same guy, obviously. Yeah, so Percy Butler's probably the position they drafted him for. I guess they rotate quite a bit, so anybody could play it on a given time. If you've got 3 safeties in the game, depending on what the offense is doing, one of them's going to be down in the box, but it may not be the same guy every time. But I would assume Percy Butler's the guy that's going to replace Landon Collins. Cam Curl obviously can do it; he's done it before, but I think they like him at free safety a little bit or strong safety a little bit. So I'm going to go Percy Butler as Buffalo nickel, and I hope I never have to say that term again.
What term was that, Eric?
Buffalo nickel.
Brian, what are your thoughts on that position? Who might start there?
Buffalo nickel is like this mythical creature that Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio, like the local beat reporters all keep talking about. And I think we've hyped it up to this thing that it's going to look, pretty sad come when we get on the field there because we have kind of slim pickings in terms of who we have, to line up there. Is it going to be Percy Butler? Everything that we've kind of seen or read about him is that, hey, he's a little bit more of a free safety. Does he have some good burst and, pursuit and terms of breaking on the football? Sure. But is that a Buffalo nickel guy who's going to play up around the line of scrimmage? Maybe not. He's 6 foot, maybe 190. Is that type of player there? So, I mean, we are still kind of, in this limbo of who's it going to be, and we don't necessarily have a lot to choose from there. We've got some bodies there, but they may not necessarily be the best ones. I'm going to think that it's going to be Cam Curl. He played there in 2020 and excelled. I think he's going to drop down, and he'll be that third safety when they do run the Buffalo nickel between Bobby McCain, everybody's favorite safety, and Percy Butler will man free safety or strong safety when he drops down. So I think it's going to be Cam Curl. I think he's going to be the star of the secondary. But yeah, I hope the Buffalo nickel works for them because they've hyped it up to a level that this should be like a premier fix-all to cover the fact that they only use 2 linebackers.
Yeah, I think Cam Curl is obviously a good choice, but I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian tonight. I'm going to say it could be Bobby McCain as well. He could slide down and play that position just because I know Brian loves it. Yeah, I agree with you on Percy Butler being more of a pure free safety, but that really depends on how good he is in the preseason throughout these camps and OTAs. Because if he can't play a lick, at least not yet, then there's no way he's going to do that, and then that really makes things a little bit more confusing to begin with. But Ron has given him so much praise coming out of the draft, especially being drafted in the round that he was taken in, that it gives you a little bit of a lead into the fact that he might be on the field early. But I don't find this Buffalo nickel position to be as relevant as a lot of people do, especially when we're not successful as a defense. It's like, well, hey, how much did that Buffalo nickel matter last year when we couldn't get off on third downs?
Yeah, if you sign a middle linebacker, you don't need a Buffalo nickel.
You know what I mean? So hey, but position flex, right?
I got a crazy suggestion for you guys on Buffalo nickel.
Brian Robinson.
Oh,
he can do anything.
He would be all pro year one.
Yeah,
no, we saw AGG move to tight end, right? He's trying to make that move now. Troy Apke cannot cover, right? He cannot see the ball in the air and make a break on it at all to save his life. But if that ball lands in front of him, he's got great burst and he will hit somebody. Why don't we have Apke gain 5-10 pounds and have him be the Buffalo nickel?
Because he can't tackle in space. He can't. Have you seen him try to tackle in space?
Yeah, he does get juked. And if he was going to put on weight, he should have been doing that in January. Like now it's a little too late to try to pack on 10 pounds of muscle. In July, June, July. But yeah, I mean, why not? They love that dude. They're going to do anything they can to keep him. So if it's Buffalo nickel, it's Buffalo nickel for that guy because he's got going.
They love these guys. Yeah, they love these guys. So why not actually have him do something and contribute? But no, just a crazy thought.
Go back and watch the Arizona game with Kyler Murray, and you will understand why Troy Apke is not a Buffalo nickel. Really, go watch any game when he was on the field and had a one-on-one chance to tackle.
If you throw it directly to him and he's standing still, he'll make a play every time.
100%. Yeah, he's elite.
Outside of that, it's spotty at best.
All right. So a couple cool things came out this week. The first of which is that the Commanders have announced that they're going to have a mascot. First, Eric, how much do you care about mascots or having one?
What is the lowest number besides 0? Actually, let's just go 0. I don't care what the mascot looks like. That does not. Everyone's going to hate it. It's going to be just like the name. Everybody's going to hate it. Yeah. Everybody's going to just crack on it. It's going to look dumb, blah, blah, blah. Regardless, it could be the coolest mascot on the planet. It's just going to get, hate piled upon it. In my opinion, no, I don't care. I'm not, 10 years old. I don't care what the mascot looks like at games. Back in the day, the San Diego chicken was cool. I don't even know what's the Baltimore, the Oriole that used to hang out at the Baltimore games. That guy was cool, but honestly, I don't care about mascots. It'll be something that somebody will have an opinion on. It's about the best I can tell you. I'm not that guy though.
Yeah, football is like the least known sport for mascots. Remember, like the old Suns gorilla back in the day? That dude was legit.
Yeah.
Baseball has a lot of them. The Washington Nationals have their presidents and stuff like that,
which are awesome.
I
do like those mascots. They change my opinion on mascots a little bit. I like the president's race.
Yeah. Brian, what about you? Are you big on mascots? Do you care? Do you not care?
No, I like mascots, and I think for a team, it can be a rallying cry or a rallying point. Um, with our team, anything that we come out with is going to get clowned for a little bit, but people will eventually, come around to it. I think a lot of people have come around to the name Commanders, however cheesy they might have thought it was initially. They've come around to it. There's a lot of people who, the Commandalorian. If anybody's seen the Mandalorian on Disney Plus, they've kind of merged that into Commanders, and now there's people with Mandalorian armor that is burgundy and gold. So, I mean, I think that's cool. I think if people have something that they can rally around, say, hey, this is my team, and they can do stuff like that, paint things like the Mandalorian armor in burgundy and gold, and say, here's my mascot, or here's something, that people can get excited about and somebody can run around the stadium with. I think that's cool. So hopefully it's something cool, but either way, I think it's better than having nothing.
Yeah,
most teams have nothing, don't they?
No, believe it or not, most teams have mascots. Like, think about the Carolina Panthers have the Panther, the Cowboys have the Cowboy, the Giants have the.
I honestly thought those were just guys that showed up dressed up like Chief Z used to.
Yeah,
because like when our old team didn't have a mascot. I mean, Chief Z was probably the closest one to it. Like, we didn't have anything. I guess I got used to not having anything. We'll see. I don't have a problem with it. It's not like I'm against a mascot. I don't really. I'm kind of ambivalent about it, I guess.
Did you know that the Steelers have a mascot, Steely McBean? I had no idea. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Seattle has Blitz. You don't hear about them in the NFL because, number one, there's so many daggone commercial breaks that you never see what happens on the field when they're not playing. And unless you're at the game, you're not going to know about it. And we haven't had one in town, so there's really nothing to pay attention to. I'm absolutely not against it. I think it's good for kids to cling on to help kind of appeal or make football more appealing for them. But me personally, it doesn't change my experience one way or another. I just look, they're going to do it. I want them to pick something smart that they like, something that's not going to have to be changed 10 years from now because it's offensive or something like that. Do their research is really what I'm trying to get at. But the fact that they've announced it already as to when they're going to reveal the mascot tells me that they already have a pretty good idea of what this mascot is going to be. So we'll see. A lot of images have been floating around about the pig commander. Have you seen that online, or the hog commander?
Oh, yeah. I don't buy it. It'll be some cartoonish military guy, most likely. Like that's what Captain Crunch looking dude.
Yep, that's what I think too. The pig commander situation can get into chauvinistic pigs, and look at the stuff we're tied into. I just think there's so many different leads with stuff like
police
that.
Again. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, it could be rough. Yeah, we don't want to do anything pig related.
I almost think that they will do something to appease fans that weren't happy with the name, but they have to be so careful. And the Commanders,
it'll be a red wolf.
That's what I was going to say. Red Wolf. Commander Red Wolf.
Commander Red Wolf. McHog. Yeah. Red Wolf McHog. Everybody's happy.
Red Hog. There you go. Red Hog.
Commander Red Wolf. Yeah, that'd be great. So you know what? It's fun. Let's see what it is. But what I don't want them to do is to do fake. No, let me not say that because I'm an ambassador. I want them to. If they're going to collect fan input, let it be real, right? And not that I know that the name was or wasn't, but I just, whenever you see them announce a date as to when something's going to happen, there's some legal situations that go behind picking a mascot as much as there is about a name. And so you can't just say, hey, week 17, we're going to unveil our new mascot if you don't have some of those legal things in place already to take care of that.
Well, and to let everybody at home know, listening, week 17, the team will be honoring the Hogs, members of the Hogs offensive line from those Super Bowl years. So that end, they will be releasing the new mascot in that same, I guess, halftime of that game. So probably some kind of tie in there.
And which is going to be interesting because it's against the Browns. We just talked about the Deshaun Watson situation. Man, and what's funny about that game too with the new mascot? That could be a really ugly game, depending on how our season is going and depending if Deshaun Watson's playing or not. So I would have preferred they did it against, maybe the Giants or something, the Falcons. I don't know, but just
Well, the
something different.
Giants humiliate us every time we play
That's true.
almost. So
That's true.
not that
That's
Daniel
true.
Jones will throw for 380, run for 100. Yeah.
Uh, Brian, you want to take us through the rest of the game themes for the 2022 season?
Yeah. So did we do the first one, the Panthers?
Nope.
So the Panthers theme is play football. Kind of the couple of the activities they've got. The Commanders marching band will be back and will be on display, and the debut of the new team fight song. There's a lot of talk of just kind of repurposing the old fight song and just changing it to "Hail to the Commanders." I don't know what you guys think about. Just taking the exact same fight song and just replacing one word with Commanders.
No.
Can't do
I
it.
hope the fight song is go-go, and
Yes.
it needs to be. And I think it will be. Like I think it's going to be. I'm actually looking forward to the fight song a little more. Like I hope I hope the fight song is DC themed.
Yeah.
Maybe get some Fugazi if it's not go-go, but
both
I don't
close.
think that's going to happen. Yeah, I would hope honestly every week the theme is play football, just from a personal preference.
You can't use the old fight song because part of the lyrics are like Braves on the warpath, right? We just kind of got away from that whole thing. So it's not going to happen.
And plus everybody's going to sing "Hail to the Redskins" if they play that tune. Like that's just what's going to happen.
Exactly. And Eric,
you're trying to break from the past.
Exactly. Go-go would be great just because of the cultural significance in DC. I don't know if I see that though. Like
maybe not a straight, I don't think like the Huckabucks are going to come out and play the fight song or anything like that. But like, I don't think, it's not going to be Junkyard.
Here's the problem with Go-Go. I would love for it to be Go-Go themed, but I think the problem is Jason Wright's not from here. I don't even know if Jason Wright knows what Go-Go is.
Oh, he
so
does.
Yeah. Well,
I know what Go-Go is.
We assumed that he would know the importance of Sean Taylor to us, and he, by his own admission, he said there was some lack of institutional knowledge when it came to that. So I don't know if he'll understand the significance of Go-Go to this area. So I hope somebody tells him, because that would be so cool if we were able to get that.
I don't think he's writing the fight. Like I think he's sourcing, like locally sourcing artists. Right. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be like a straight Go-Go tune, but I can very clearly I can hear they're playing the quads in the background. Like they're going to have a little like Chuck Brown type funk going on in the fights. I think you can incorporate it, and you could definitely, like, somebody from here will definitely recognize it. And somebody from like, oh my gosh. If you could repurpose "Bustin' Loose" for the fight song,
that would be great.
That'd be amazing, right? But I can see it happen. I can see how it would work. It doesn't have to be like a straight go-go tune.
I feel like they're gonna bring Wale in on that fight song too, because he's very involved with the team, which can be interesting. I don't think it can go both ways, but shout out to Wale. But I just have a feeling that Eric, you're right. They're gonna source local artists for something like that. And I think, one of the biggest local artists is Wale. You got Raheem Devon, Tabby Benet, folks like that. But I would like to see it just be, if they're going to go that direction, the go-go bands aren't just rap, right? They sing too, and they do, melodies and things like that. I would like to see something very catchy, something in that vein. But again, we'll wait and see. But I'm excited. Is that during the preseason that you said they're going to break that up?
Yeah, that's the week 1 preseason against the Panthers, and then week 1 of the actual regular season against the Jaguars. The theme: Commanders kickoff. The activities or celebrations: pregame 9/11 tribute, halftime tribute to Washington legends of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you guys ready to see Jurgensen, maybe Rigo out there at halftime of the Jaguars game?
Yeah, I think they're going to bring up some, Chris Hamburger type guys. I don't know, is Eddie LeBaron still around? He'd be out there. The old school guys. I'm sure some of those guys are still around. I mean, it's, they're getting up in years, but I think that'll be really neat, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm curious about? How are they going to acknowledge them, as Commanders or as Redskins?
I hope just to say Washington football. Washington football legends. It's not going to happen because it makes too much sense. But just, I hate. Like I will never not hate a jersey, like an old Redskins player jersey with a Commander's uniform. Like, do you see any Wizards jerseys, Wes Unseld? Like, you just don't. It doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
You've got the, throwback is throwback, but yeah, I hope that they can just say, Washington legends, Washington football legends.
Yeah, that'd be like a Sean Kemp Oklahoma City Thunder jersey.
Yeah, like you're not doing that. The Gary Payton. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
All right. Week 3 against the Philadelphia Eagles is presented by Telemundo 44. We are all Commanders. So Hispanic Heritage Month will be celebrated. HBCU Night Out will be celebrated, and Pride Night Out. So there'll be special performances from the Hispanic, the LGBTQIA plus community, HBCU communities, food trucks from Hispanic descent will be there. And then there's a Pride Night Out pregame party. That all sounds great to me. So
they're going to do all that in 1 week.
I guess so.
For a game, like
no, they're going to cancel the game. It's just going to be the activities.
We're just going to cancel the game and put that on in the background. We'll play that on the practice field. Bring everybody.
Some of it, I think, takes place before the game. Some of these will be before the game, but there's a lot going on. They're jamming into that week, but it should be good.
Get our good friend from Mexico, Ilse Noni, back on the podcast.
Oh, Ilse,
so
nice. Week 5 against the Titans. Think Pink. It's the breast cancer awareness. So there'll be the NFL's Crucial Catch initiative that'll be done at halftime, and breast cancer all-star survivors recognition also at halftime. So lots of survivors. So that should be a good one.
That's a
Week 7.
Never hear me saying a bad thing about a cancer survivor.
No. Absolutely not.
Even I'm not that heartless. Come on out.
Week 7, Green Bay Packers 90th anniversary celebration and alumni homecoming weekend. The big kind of activity is tributes for each of the 5 world championship teams. What do you guys think about that?
Hate homecoming. Hate it. Like it's just a slap in the face to the team you're playing. You're making Aaron Rodgers your homecoming game. Come on, man. Don't do that. Because everybody knows, like, homecoming, you schedule scrubs so that you can pound them. You can't do that in the NFL. I don't like the theme personally. I wish they could call it something else.
Well, that's famously D'Angelo Williams of the Carolina Panthers years ago was like he was pissed that they scheduled him.
Yeah, I mean,
they ended up beating us. So
I get it. Yeah, I don't. Do we ever win those games? Like those are tough games. Yeah. Although the throwbacks are usually pretty fire.
Yeah, but not against Green Bay. Come on, guys.
Week 9, Minnesota Vikings. So this is the theme is salute to service. This is going to be a blackout game. They want all the fans, everybody to wear black. There'll be service member recognition at halftime, but the biggest thing is it's a blackout game. They want everybody. I'm assuming this will be the first time we see the all black uniform for the Commanders. What do you guys think about that? Everybody dressed in black attending the game, and then we bury Kirk Cousins afterwards.
Hopefully it's a primetime game.
Oh, man. A primetime home game against Kirk Cousins. It's like the resistible force in the movable object.
Yeah.
No, I like the blackout theme. It's pretty cool. I'd rather see a burgundy out, but blackout, is what it is. It seems cool to me. I like the uniforms.
Yeah, if it's a night game, I think you get a little bit more participation in the blackout versus just a day game. It doesn't have the same effect anyway, doing a blackout at 1:00 in the afternoon. You know what I mean? As opposed to like a 8:30 kickoff. But that's the big question though. Like, how many fans are actually going to participate in the blackout? Especially as attendance has kind of been up and down, and fans have been
mostly visiting fans.
Yeah.
But I think Vikings fans, that's a good game to do it, because Vikings fans, I don't know how well they travel. Like, I've been to Minnesota games in DC before, and there wasn't a ton. I mean, there was obviously fans there, but there wasn't a ton of Vikings fans. I've been to like 2 or 3, I think, Vikings games for some reason. So I don't remember them. They definitely, like, I wouldn't do it against like Pittsburgh or Dallas or anybody like that. So yeah.
Well, it tells you too that they expect to be competitive that late in the season. Could you imagine being, what it was that week 9, 2-6? Yep. And you're like, hey, let's have a blackout game. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's going to get blacked out on TV.
Yeah. Week 12, Atlanta Falcons theme season of giving. The activities, there's going to be a Toys for Tot drive, My Cause, My Cleats. So a lot of the players will be wearing specialized cleats for their charity. Debut of a permanent installation at FedEx Field for Sean Taylor to be unveiled at the 15th anniversary of his passing. So hopefully a better, more proper tribute to Sean Taylor and the Toys for Tots. What do you guys think about a better celebration for Sean than what he got last year?
Let's just make sure Jackson Mahomes is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Solid plan. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agreed. I think that that'll be a good one. All right, week 15, the New York Giants. Inspire change is the theme. Recognition of the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, which I'm not really sure who. Maybe it was Jonathan Allen or maybe it was Ron Rivera. I'm not sure who that was. And then the return of Shop Black Holiday Market. I don't know what that is. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Shop Black Holiday Market. Is that like an actual market or something like that? What is that?
Well, so the Shop Black Holiday is, I believe, where you support, Black owned businesses.
Are they
So
there at halftime?
I don't know. I'd have to get more research on what they're trying to do with that. I haven't looked at this yet. You sent it to us earlier. I haven't looked at this.
We'll skip that.
Yeah, let's see. But whatever they're trying to do is cool. Just trying to support different, communities and things like that. I'm always for it, regardless of what the community is. So.
What we talked about, week 17, this is the big one. It's fan appreciation, so there'll be some giveaways for that. Key activations for this one include the recognition of the Hogs offensive line, all the players from those Super Bowls, the Hogs offensive line, and the unveiling of that new mascot. So this will be at the Browns game at halftime with all the former offensive linemen and then this new mascot. So we'll see, what this new mascot looks like. Last one. Week 18 versus the Dallas Cowboys, rivalry week. This is a whiteout game. So this is at the end of the season, whiteout game. Fans are encouraged to wear all white. My question to you guys is, you guys own a white coat, winter coat? Like none of my coats are white, and especially none of my winter coats are white. Like I guess people wear t-shirts in December and January.
No, man, you put the jersey over the hoodie and then you're good to go. Right. Yeah.
Right. But bust out my old Storm Shadow Halloween costume. Yeah, Joe.
Storm Shadow, yes.
Oh man, you know what? They picked a good game for this because even if you have fans wearing Cowboys jerseys, those jerseys are still white. So no matter what you do,
that's true.
It's gonna look legit.
That is true. The blue jerseys are bad luck.
Yep.
So nobody wears the blue jerseys for the Cowboys. So that's actually solid planning.
Yes.
I think, personally, I think like a whiteout in the stadium would look pretty rad. I hope it snows too, and nobody's gonna know what's going on.
That would be great. That would be great if it snows and we get that. I would love that. But that's all the themes for the upcoming season. So what do you guys think about all of that for this year?
I like that we're keeping fan engagement. We're doing what we can to attract fans to the stadium because that's been a struggle in the past. But again, I think winning will attract fans to the stadium more than any theme game. So hopefully, for that whiteout game, it's for all the marbles, and we're playing for a playoff spot, or we've already got one clinched, and nobody Dallas show up because they don't care. I like it. One gripe I have with this team, and it's getting a little old to me, is that we're still really hung up on the past. We really just love to honor we seems like, hey, remember when we were good? Seems to be a theme that we kind of cling to. So hopefully with the rebrand and once we get past all this, we can start forging ahead and start thinking, into the future about what can we, let's celebrate this team now because we're actually good again or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a minor gripe on my part.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of that has to do with it. We haven't won a whole lot, so we can only look to the past. So hopefully this year they do win, and they do win big. That way, just like you said, we can focus on the now and also moving forward, because that would be nice to see.
Although that 50s and 60s week, that's a good thing, because remember when we were actually worse than this?
we're getting dangerously close.
I think we're bad now.
dangerously close to Ifeanyi Olate and Stephen
Oh, no.
Alexander Appreciation Day coming. So
Hey, Alexander was a baller, man.
yeah, okay.
He could
Let
play.
me let's close it out on this question. So Jack Del Rio had some controversial comments on Twitter. I don't want to get into those comments here. What I want to ask you is, where are you at in terms of coaches and people of the administrative level and organizations, and football organizations having access or using social media frequently, Eric?
Twitter is an absolute cesspool. I've said it here. I'll say it a million times. I do. I logged on last week to add, to follow, and I just scrolled for 30 seconds and deleted the app again. Nothing good comes from any tweet ever. Honestly, like I hate it. And especially with people of authority tweet, like you're in a position of authority. You have people looking to you. Don't, don't tweet. Just get off Twitter. Don't do it. Just, if I wish there was an option, I don't even wish there was an option. A lot of people need to be an option of like, you just have read access to Twitter and you can just read tweets. That would be amazing. Like I might even subscribe to that. Like I hate Twitter so much. It's so bad. And I know I have my Twitter handle here. Please follow me because I need followers. I logged on last week. I had like 20 new followers. I don't know how that happened, but I guess it's from here. Yeah, please follow me on Twitter. If you see me tweeting something, I'm probably being held hostage. So yeah, don't get off Twitter. I hate it. I don't know if that was the answer to your question, but that pretty much sums up how I feel about Twitter.
It was an answer. I'll take it. Brian, Brian, you in the same boat?
Yes, and some and more so in terms of not to get off Twitter. I hate it, but if you are in leadership, more is expected of you, right? You're the standard. You're the role model. You are by which the players and everybody else are supposed to follow. And if you can't set the example, then for me, you've got to go. Like Jack Del Rio has been a head coach in the NFL. Jack Del Rio has been a defensive coordinator, which is a leadership position. He knows all of the trials and tribulations associated with trying to run a football team without distractions, let alone himself becoming a distraction. And that is what he did with his comments. Again, what he said, separate aside, that's something completely different. He knows that as soon as he typed and hit send, it was going to cause a distraction, and he did it anyway. To me, that's selfish, and that speaks to something that he's got to answer himself. So I'm not at all a fan of what he did because he knows better. He is a leader, and he knows that that's not what you do. You brought you put the spotlight on you instead of the team. And hopefully Ron Rivera has a talk with him, because if Jack Del Rio was a 25-year-old linebacker and he did this, people would be killing him from now until next week. But he's a coach, so it's a lot less scrutiny that I'm hearing, or criticism that I'm hearing about him. So I hope this is the end of this, and we don't have to hear any more of his tweeting habits.
Get that man a burner account.
Yeah. Somebody show him. Yeah, somebody show him how to get a burner account. There you go.
Shecky Ramshackle.
Dak,
that's a great Twitter handle. I might change mine to that. At Shecky Ramshackle.
Yeah,
take that, Jack. That's mine.
Yeah, you guys said it. It just at some point when you elevate through organizations, you just have to give up certain privileges like social media that other people get you a joy, because there's no weight to what they think or tweet or whatever. And it's America. You're allowed to think how you think. You're allowed to feel how you feel, but you have to consider the workplace. You have to consider the distractions and what it's doing, not only to yourself, but now Ron has to answer those questions, right? And people are like, hey, Ron, what are you gonna do about this? And it just, you prefer not to have to do that. As a fan, there's just already so much going on with the organization.
Yeah.
I would love to just keep it football, and just talk. Exactly. And I get on social media, or I get on Twitter, and I'm only in Commanders conversations. I don't look at the world news on social media. I don't look at celebrity lives. Every time I see celebrity dating details trending, I'm like, what are we doing here? Why is this the most important thing going on in the country, that such and such is dating such and such? But you know what? It's made for fun. It's for entertainment purposes. I'm glad that people enjoy it. I do enjoy Twitter when we're talking about the Commander stuff. there are other social media platforms I don't enjoy as much, but just when you're a certain level in an organization, you just have to know sometimes it's best to just not do something, and that includes social media. So, anyway, everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do to engage with us. Make sure you have that happen, and we're happy to engage with you guys. We love the comments that you guys leave. We are very appreciative of each and every one of you. Have a tremendous day.